I just want to clarify, zoom in and out, and show you some things that are important to be the way that I have them drawn. Like our dimensions should always line up all the way across in each row or column. Even if the text doesn't fit, whether it looks like this or this, they align up. And then we have the outside dimension. Here, this is bad. You don't want anything too close. So I'm going to pull on that and take it out a little bit. I already did that in a video. So when we have our foundation, it's 16, this lines up. I'm just going to turn the wall layers on for a minute so you can see the relationship. So we are going to turn on a base plan wall, a wall. So we've offset. We actually used the roof. Let me turn that layer on too. We actually used the roof layer, roof below. We created that for a polyline for our roof so we could offset it the 1 foot. And it's right on the wall. This is the wall. It's an XREF layer. It's kind of grayed out. You can see it here. So we offset our foundation wall 3/4 of an inch this way. And that's so plywood, 3/4 inches thick, can land on the edge of it. And there are other details, but this one I just chose because we're doing it in the 11th grade class. So and then this is 8-inch thick CMU. So we offset from here. Then once we offset that, we put it on the foundation wall layer. Then we offset it at the 8 inches to the inside. And we did that around the garage, and we did it around all the exterior walls. It's just a review here. So we have this foundation wall. We have this footing underneath our foundation wall, the poured concrete. That's 16 inches wide. It's 8 inches tall, but we don't care about height when we're doing a plan. We only care about width. And it's 16 inches wide, and it's centered underneath the 8-inch foundation wall. So it is 4 inches to the outside. You offset it 4 inches and then select it and put it on the proper layer. And you can either offset that line 16 inches to the inside, and then you don't have to change layers, or you can offset this line 4 inches and change layers. So that's what this looks like. Our dimensions are always, if you drew a line straight across, the lines would line up. And you only need the overall on one side or the other unless they're different. So the top and the bottom aren't different. The overall is the overall, although I did not include this. So we don't know where to build that. So I'm going to include it up here. We don't know how to build it if we don't have it dimensioned. I'm dimensioning the foundation wall because the other walls aren't there yet. And I don't want to pick down here because then I won't get a gap. I need to pick at the outside corner. And I'm going to put it here. And if the dimensions are weird like that, you can just move them. You can move them to have nothing, or you can move them to have a leader. It's up to you what you want to do there. You don't want to move it too far out, though, especially if you don't have a leader. So now my overall dimension doesn't come to here. This one comes to here. And I can pick here. That's okay. When I do that, I have to move mine. You can even put your dimension like that with a leader. The leader is the little leg of line that sticks out. So I do need an overall on each one because, well, I got it covered up here. And this one is different than this one. So we'll leave it like that. Our pilasters. And yet we're going to look up pilasters tomorrow. pilaster is a rectangular column, especially one projecting from a wall. Okay, so that's what these are. These are pilasters. These are the footings for the pilasters. Actually, the block would stick out here too, or sometimes we just beef up the footing and we put a cutout in the block and rest the beam inside the block, which is what I'm showing. But you still need extra support because there's extra weight. These are carrying a lot of weight. They're carrying all the floor joists above. So, I've been showing you pictures of images. Basement. I've been showing you pictures of crawl spaces, but basement framing is very similar. Well, there's a lot of ways to do it. But if you look at this picture, this is a post here, and it's going to have a footing underneath to support it because it's carrying the weight of this horizontal structure up here, which is framing around ductwork. So I'm getting too much here. Okay, let's do crawl space framing. I think it was better. So each time you have these beams, you have a pier underneath, whether it's wood or concrete, and underneath that you can see here we have a beefed up concrete footing that carries the weight of the post, the vertical part, and the horizontal part. And on top of the beams sits all our joists. So there's a lot of weight being carried. So we have to pour extra concrete there. So that's what these are, pilasters. These are the footings for our post or whatever vertical material we're using to support these beams, like I just showed you in that picture. These align. These align. What I've done is I divided the space in 1, 2, 3, and I centered them in between. I got a number that I could live with, right? So 14, 14, 14 were all below 16. And I did the same thing here. I drew a line and I divided it so that I could keep, well, I divided it to here, but I knew that would still work. It's a little bit bigger, a couple inches bigger. So we divide, we want to break this into a symmetrical situation. So we have this and this are, if this is the center line, I have them equal distance from the center line. I have them down here to carry this end, and I have them up here to carry that end, the pilasters. This one I did the same thing. I centered it in the space, and I added the pilasters to carry the end points. So it's not exactly centered in the space. I wanted to line it up with this so we could just pour this out here, because it would be, if it was over here where it would be more centered, then I have to carry it back here, and it wasn't necessary. I was still under 16 feet. So there's a lot of information, more than drawing information. It's a lot more. We would also do a few more things, but I think we're going to stop here with this basement plan, with this foundation crawl space plan. We put our names in, and we put them on foundation. They need to be on foundation ano layer. So this is a foundation plan, and this is unexcavated because it's a slab on grade. So let's do slab on grade. It's a slab on grade. There's dirt, stone, and we can do it this way. We have it drawn like this. But there's dirt and some stone, and then the reinforced concrete. So this is just some information I want to share with you so that you can see it. You can draw this 2 different ways. You can draw it as a single line, 1, 2, 3 lines, or you can draw it this way, the thickness of it. This is 1, This is another one, and this is the third one. But it's also done in some offices where you would just draw 3 of these phantom lines. And sometimes they use another line type. So I'm going to leave you with that. And we're going to take a little questionnaire on this. Just checking for knowledge. See what I still have to figure out how to explain better.